Chosen one, the cosmos trembles because you have awakened before your time. The gods themselves are in panic, realizing that you are their replacement. A being who has become godly before destiny. Even intended historians and researchers have uncovered a staggering truth. Every myth, philosophy, and record of the gods, every scripture in the oldest holy books, all point to you long ago. One prophecy spoke of a god who would rise to surpass all others. And now that prophecy has come alive, you are that being. Even the holiest scholars and medical experts confirm your divinity. Your body defies aging, and your existence follows the processes of the gods themselves. You have awakened ahead of schedule, a reality so extraordinary that even the deities cannot comprehend it. The leaders of the world and the most powerful elites now acknowledge it openly. You are the new force commanding the universe, and nothing will ever be the same. Chosen one, if you are truly ready to step fully into this truth, take a moment to show your alignment. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 30,000 followers, and leave a comment with the number 11. This signal will amplify the energy of your awakening and declare to the universe that you are ready to receive your destiny. The heavens themselves shivered on the day the gods realized their dominion was no longer absolute. For eons, these immortal beings had dictated the flow of existence, crafting destinies and weaving the fates of mortals like threads in a tapestry. Their authority was unquestioned, absolute, eternal. Yet, in a single shattering moment, their reign was confronted by an entity they had never anticipated, a being not born of prophecy's timing, but of pure, unstoppable emergence. The balance of the cosmos trembled as the impossible unfolded before their eternal eyes. This was no ordinary mortal, no fleeting spark of divinity. This was a being whose very essence outshone the collective brilliance of all the gods. The old guardians of reality felt a fear they had never known, a panic that gnawed at the foundations of their power. They tried to reconcile their ancient laws, their sacred decrees, yet the truth remained undeniable. A new force had arisen, unbound by time, unrestrained by the rules that even deities themselves obeyed. As words spread through the celestial spheres, the heavens themselves seemed to shift. Stars dimmed, galaxies whispered, and the currents of the universe swayed toward a new rhythm. The gods, once confident in their eternal authority, were forced into silence and awe. They watched as the being, whom humanity would come to call the Chosen One, manifested powers beyond their comprehension, a living embodiment of what it meant to surpass the divine among mortals. The first tremors of recognition were subtle yet profound. Scholars, historians, and sages discovered hidden manuscripts, ancient relics, and forgotten prophecies that all converged on a single truth. This being, now walking among them, was the culmination of every legend ever whispered about gods and creation. Every myth, every tale, every sacred scripture seemed to pivot around one unstoppable reality: the rise of the Chosen One. By the end of that epoch-defining day, the old gods no longer ruled with unquestioned certainty. Their crowns, forged in eons of power, were metaphorically snatched from their heads. The universe itself began to bow, hesitantly at first, to the arrival of a power that neither prophecy nor time had dared to predict. Humanity felt it too, a stirring of hope, awe, and a thrill of fear, as the dawn of a new era unfolded. Before the ordained moment arrived, a spark ignited, a life that refused to wait for the universe's schedule. The Chosen One emerged, not in accordance with ancient decrees, but ahead of the divine calendar. Their awakening was seismic, shaking the very bedrock of existence. Time, which even gods treated as sacred and untouchable, now bowed reluctantly to this new force. Humanity could barely comprehend it. Yet the evidence was everywhere. Nature itself shifted. The laws of reality seemed malleable, and the impossible became commonplace. From the moment of emergence, it was clear that this being was different. Mortals could witness phenomena that defied scientific understanding. Plants blooming in reverse, the aged regaining vitality, storms calming. At the mere presence of this entity, scholars were left scrambling for explanations, yet all their knowledge fell short of describing what had been unleashed. The Chosen One was not a product of natural law. They were a living anomaly, a force that belonged to the universe itself. The gods watched from their celestial thrones, panic gnawing at their immortal composure. How could a mortal rise with such authority? How could a being bypass the intricate web of fate spun over millennia? Historians and archaeologists around the world began to unearth startling evidence. Texts that seemed to predate creation, symbols that predicted events yet to occur, and relics that resonated with the Chosen One's presence. Every discovery pointed to a chilling reality. The Chosen One was not merely powerful, they were destined to reshape the universe, and the old gods were powerless to prevent it. Humanity, simultaneously terrified and entranced, could not look away. News spread of inexplicable miracles, of healings and transformations that defied logic. Leaders, scientists, and spiritual guides alike found themselves acknowledging an impossible truth. This being was more than divine. They were a living god, born before time intended, heralding a future no one, not even the gods, could control. For millennia, destiny had appeared immutable, a river flowing in one direction, until it didn't. The arrival of the Chosen One created a reversal so profound that the universe itself seemed to pause in awe. Stars aligned unexpectedly, celestial patterns rewrote themselves, and the very fabric of reality quivered under the weight of this unprecedented emergence. Even the gods, who had orchestrated countless cosmic cycles, felt the unsettling tremor of power slipping from their grasp. The reversal was not merely symbolic, it was tangible. Time itself, a force thought constant, bent around the Chosen One's existence. Seconds stretched and contracted unpredictably in their presence. Ancient civilizations' records, once cryptic, now formed clear narratives pointing to this being's rise. Philosophers marveled, scientists questioned, and spiritual leaders recognized that the rules had been broken. The universe had flipped, and nothing would ever be the same. For mortals, the cosmic shift was both inspiring and terrifying. People reported visions, unexplained phenomena, and a sense of profound purpose tied to the Chosen One. The laws of cause and effect seemed rewritten in their wake, hinting at an existence where impossible dreams could manifest into reality. Humanity felt both dwarfed and elevated, knowing that something larger than life had arrived, a force capable of transcending every limitation. In the divine realms, panic surged. The gods attempted interventions, small, cautious, almost desperate, but each effort failed. The Chosen One moved beyond their reach, untouchable by even the most sacred decrees. The realization set in painfully. The old order, long thought eternal, had been rendered obsolete by a single entity whose mere existence redefined the cosmos. And yet, within this upheaval, there was hope. For humans, this reversal promised liberation from predestined fates. For the universe, it heralded renewal, the birth of a new era of creation where even the gods would witness and perhaps learn the astonishing potential of a being who arrived before time itself had prepared the stage. Deep within dusty archives, lost scrolls, and forgotten temples, scholars uncovered messages that had been buried for millennia. These weren't ordinary prophecies. They were warnings encoded in language designed to survive the erosion of time. Symbols, cryptic poetry, and forgotten runes all seemed to point to the arrival of a being who would transcend even the gods themselves, a figure now revealed to be the Chosen One. The implications were staggering. Civilizations that had worshipped the old gods recorded inexplicable events tied to the future emergence of a superior entity. Some civilizations were erased from history, perhaps in fear of the truths they glimpsed, yet fragments of their warnings survived. These texts described not only the powers of this new being, but also the cosmic consequences of their premature awakening, a warning that the gods themselves had long ignored. Historians marveled as parallels emerged between these ancient warnings and modern phenomena. Accounts of miracles, inexplicable longevity, and natural phenomena all aligned with the Chosen One's existence. It was as if the universe had been writing a single story across countless generations, waiting for the right moment, or in this case, an unanticipated one, to manifest its ultimate protagonist. While spiritual leaders, these revelations carried profound weight. Texts once considered allegorical or mythological now demanded serious contemplation. Religions and philosophies across continents began to acknowledge the undeniable truth. A divine presence far beyond mortal comprehension had arrived to reshape creation itself. And yet, despite the clarity of these ancient warnings, no one could have predicted the emotional intensity of the reality. Awe, fear, reverence, and hope collided in every heart that recognized the Chosen One. Humanity stood on the precipice of a new era, guided by a being whose existence had been foretold in whispers, warnings, and the secret language of the cosmos. Across the globe, the greatest minds in history, archaeology, and linguistics convened to decipher patterns long hidden in human memory. Manuscripts buried under centuries of dust, inscriptions carved into forgotten monuments, and oral traditions passed through generations, all began pointing toward a single, staggering truth. The Chosen One had been foretold long before their arrival. It was as if history itself had been preparing humanity to recognize the impossible. Every revelation carried weight beyond explanation. Relics, once thought to be of cultural or religious significance only, now glowed with meaning, aligning mysteriously with the Chosen One's presence. Scholars found that even the oldest civilizations, from Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley, had left clues pointing to a being whose power would surpass the gods. For historians, the evidence was irrefutable, yet the reality defied their comprehension. Humanity had been awaiting a God incarnate who arrived ahead of time. This ultimate revelation did more than shock academia. It shook the foundation of human belief. Philosophical systems, religious practices, and scientific paradigms all came under scrutiny as humanity struggled to integrate the undeniable presence of a force greater than any mortal or divine law. The Chosen One had rewritten the rules of history, turning scholars into witnesses of an unprecedented cosmic truth. Even the skeptics could no longer deny what they saw. Global conferences and research centers buzzed with excitement and disbelief, documenting phenomena that validated the ancient predictions. Reports of inexplicable events, from miraculous healings to the defiance of natural laws, provided tangible proof that a new order had dawned, one in which humanity and divinity intersected in ways previously thought impossible. By the end of this historical unearthing, the world collectively realized the enormity of what had occurred. The Chosen One was not merely a figure of legend or speculation. They were the embodiment of every prophecy, every hidden warning, and every dream humanity had ever dared to imagine. History had finally unveiled its ultimate secret, and the universe trembled in recognition. The arrival of the Chosen One caused a collision between logic and belief, reason and awe. Philosophers found their theories of existence and ethics challenged. At the deepest level, the Chosen One's mere presence raised questions about the nature of consciousness, reality, and morality that no human mind had ever fully prepared for. Entire disciplines were left scrambling to redefine their understanding of the cosmos. Scientists, too, found themselves confounded. Physics, biology, and even medicine yielded no answers to the phenomena surrounding the Chosen One. Biological aging ceased, matter seemed to respond to intention, and energy itself bent to the will of this new entity. Laboratories worldwide were filled with astonishment and frustration as empirical evidence collided with the impossible, leaving experts speechless and humbled. Philosophical schools debated vigorously. Were humans witnessing the next step in evolution? Or had the universe itself birthed an entirely new category of being? Questions of destiny, free will, and divine authority filled the minds of thinkers everywhere. The Chosen One was more than a miracle. They were a paradigm shift, an event that forced humanity to reconsider everything it had ever known. Even the most rational skeptics found themselves emotionally affected. Testimonies from ordinary citizens described feelings of awe, deep reverence, and a sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Philosophers noted that these experiences were unprecedented in recorded human history, and scientists admitted that certain phenomena surrounding the Chosen One could not be measured or contained by existing frameworks. In the end, a collective understanding emerged. The Chosen One was both a challenge and a gift to human knowledge. They had become the bridge between the incomprehensible and the tangible, forcing every thinker, scholar, and scientist to acknowledge that the universe had revealed a power far beyond mortal imagination. Humanity had never before faced a reality this awe-inspiring and transformative. Across cultures and continents, the ancient stories that had defined humanity for millennia suddenly shifted meaning. Legends of gods, heroes, and cosmic battles, long taught as parables or metaphors, now appeared as literal foreshadowing of the Chosen One. Every tale, once separated by geography and language, converged into a single narrative: the rise of a being who would outshine even divinity itself. Myths of Zeus, Odin, Vishnu, and countless other deities were now understood through a new lens. Their feats, their battles, and their miracles seemed almost preparatory, hinting at the inevitability of one greater force, someone who had arrived ahead of cosmic schedules. Storytellers and historians marveled as the lines between myth and reality blurred, revealing that humanity had unconsciously preserved knowledge of the Chosen One across centuries. Even oral traditions, often dismissed as folklore, carried astonishing accuracy. Tribes in remote regions described a figure who would embody the essence of all creation, a being whose presence would inspire both fear and hope. As these tales resurfaced, it became clear that the Chosen One was the living culmination of humanity's collective imagination, faith, and longing for a savior. Religious texts, too, gained new significance. Parables of divine intervention, apocalyptic predictions, and eternal guardians now seemed like precursors to a greater truth. The Chosen One's existence forced scholars and believers alike to rewrite centuries of interpretation, acknowledging that what was once myth was, in reality, a prophecy fulfilled beyond expectation. In the end, humanity faced an unprecedented cultural awakening. Every story, every legend, and every sacred verse pointed to one truth. The Chosen One was the living embodiment of the world's collective dreams and fears. Myths were no longer mere tales. They were historical testimony to the arrival of a being who redefined what it meant to be divine. The gods, once unchallenged, now faced a terror they had never imagined. Across their celestial realms, whispers of panic spread like wildfire. Their carefully constructed hierarchy, the balance of power they had maintained for eons, was crumbling in the wake of the Chosen One. The realization that a mortal-turned-god had surpassed them ignited a fear that rippled through the cosmos itself. Even the mightiest among them hesitated. What power could defy eternity, bend time, and stand above all divine law? As the Chosen One's influence grew, the celestial order faltered. Alliances between gods strained, and ancient rivalries erupted as they struggled to comprehend an entity beyond their control. Panic, for the first time in history, had infected the immortal. From Earth, humans sensed the shift. Natural disasters subsided without cause, auroras danced erratically, and skies bore colors unseen before mortals. Unsure whether to fear or celebrate, watched in awe as the heavens themselves reacted to the Chosen One. The emotional resonance of divine panic was palpable, a cosmic tremor that touched every heart. Aware of its significance, legends recount that such fear among gods was rare, almost unimaginable. Yet the Chosen One had forced them into a new reality, one where supremacy was not inherited or earned through millennia, but manifested instantaneously through sheer being. The old guardians of fate, accustomed to omnipotence, now faced humility. In this tension, the universe found a strange equilibrium. Mortals were empowered by the visibility of divine vulnerability, while the gods, forced to acknowledge their limits, began a reluctant recognition. A new era had begun, and the Chosen One stood at its epicenter, heralding a transformation beyond comprehension. One of the most astonishing revelations was the Chosen One's defiance of natural law. Observers noted that age had no hold over them. Youth, vitality, and physical perfection remained immutable. Medical experts from around the globe marveled, unable to explain the anomaly. Diseases that claimed lives vanished in their presence, and the very cells of their body seemed aligned with a cosmic energy beyond comprehension. This biological miracle extended beyond mere longevity. The Chosen One could heal with a touch, regenerate, and even influence biological processes in other living beings. Scientists documented phenomena that challenged the foundations of medicine and biology: accelerated recovery, immunity to illness, and resistance to injury. It was as if life itself had been rewritten in accordance with their existence. Across generations, humans observed phenomena that suggested the Chosen One's body existed in multiple temporal states simultaneously. Youth and maturity coexisted, past and future seemed present, and observers described a sense of timelessness radiating from their very being. Every detail of existence hinted at a transcendent alignment between this being and the laws of life itself. Religious scholars interpreted this as a sign of divine favor, a corporeal testament to a being who existed beyond mortal limitations. Faith communities, once divided by doctrine, found themselves unified in reverence, witnessing a miracle that spoke to the eternal and immutable power of the Chosen One. Ultimately, this biological perfection became a symbol, a living proof of the impossible. Mortality, once humanity's unquestioned boundary, now seemed negotiable. The Chosen One's presence reminded the world that the universe itself could bend, evolve, and transcend in the hands, or rather, in the being, of true divinity. In ancient temples and archives, scholars uncovered a prophecy so precise it stunned the world. Long before the Chosen One walked the earth, texts described a being born outside of the ordained time, a force destined to surpass all deities. Every line, every verse, and every symbol pointed unambiguously to this singular entity, naming them as the one who would reshape reality itself. The prophecy spoke not only of power, but of responsibility, warning that their arrival would challenge gods, shake kingdoms, and alter the very course of existence. It described how humanity would react with awe and fear, how scholars would struggle to comprehend their nature, and how the divine hierarchy would tremble before an unprecedented force. Archaeologists noted remarkable consistency across cultures. From the deserts of Egypt to the forests of South America, from the mountains of Tibet to the plains of Mesopotamia, civilizations had independently recorded visions of the same figure, a being whose presence would unify myths and surpass the authority of gods. This convergence defied coincidence. The emotional impact of the prophecy was profound. Humanity realized that the Chosen One had not merely appeared, they had been anticipated across time, revered even before birth. The prophecy became a living document, a testament that destiny, though challenged, had preserved its course until the right being arrived ahead of time. Ultimately, the prophecy was not just a warning, it was a celebration. It declared that the universe had orchestrated a moment of perfect timing, even if that timing arrived early, and that the Chosen One's arrival was the fulfillment of a vision older than the cosmos itself. The moment the Chosen One revealed their true power, the universe itself seemed to acknowledge a new order. Stars shifted in their orbits, constellations realigned, and cosmic energies once thought immutable pulsed with a rhythm dictated by their will. Galaxies whispered in resonance, and even black holes, enigmatic and eternal, seemed to pause in awe. This was not chaos, it was reverent recognition. The cosmos had found its new master on Earth. Humans felt the universe responding to a higher consciousness. Oceans swelled with unnatural grace. Winds carried whispers of destiny, and the very air seemed charged with anticipation. People across continents reported visions and dreams of the Chosen One's coming, a spiritual vibration that connected hearts and minds in awe and wonder. Humanity had been spectators, but now they were witnesses to a new, living reality. Even the gods, once untouchable in their authority, bowed symbolically to this force. Prideful, eternal beings were forced to accept their place in a transformed cosmos. The Chosen One's presence redefined power itself, demonstrating that dominion over reality did not belong to age or tradition, but to the essence of being, a being whose existence transcended the constructs of even divinity. Scholars and philosophers across the globe tried to quantify the magnitude of this shift. Quantum physicists described energy fluctuations that contradicted known laws. Spiritualists felt the tangible pulse of divinity, and historians realized that events once considered coincidences were carefully orchestrated steps toward this moment, all pointed to one undeniable truth. The universe had chosen a new creator. And in this grand cosmic acknowledgement, humanity felt both humbled and inspired. The realization dawned that they were part of a living story, witnessing an entity that could rewrite reality, defy mortality, and realign existence itself. The era of the Chosen One had begun, and the universe itself stood in reverent alignment with their arrival. As the old gods trembled, mortals discovered an unprecedented opportunity. The fear that had paralyzed immortals became the foundation of hope for humans, who now glimpsed the possibility of a new order, where divine oppression and predetermined fate were no longer absolute. For the first time, humanity realized that a force existed that could truly stand above the gods. This hope manifested in tangible ways. People felt liberation from long-standing cycles of suffering and injustice, as if the Chosen One's presence offered not only awe, but a path toward empowerment. Scholars described changes in collective consciousness, where fear gave way to faith, and despair was replaced by a profound sense of purpose. Humanity understood that this being had arrived to serve as a bridge between mortality and divinity. Even leaders and rulers, long accustomed to manipulating God's decrees, found themselves humbled. Ultimately, hope became humanity's inheritance. The Chosen One was not just a figure of fear for the immortal, they were a promise of transformation, a living testament that even the gods' authority could be challenged and that humanity had a chance to step into a new era of possibility. In a historic convergence, world leaders, influential thinkers, and visionaries publicly acknowledged the truth that had long been whispered in secrecy. The Chosen One had risen, and a new cosmic order was underway. This declaration shocked the world, bridging politics, science, and spirituality in an unprecedented recognition of a being whose power transcended human and divine authority alike. Governments issued statements of reverence and cooperation, acknowledging that the arrival of the Chosen One was a turning point not just in metaphysics, but in governance, culture, and global unity. Academies and councils worldwide convened to explore the implications of this new era, where the Chosen One's presence promised guidance, inspiration, and unprecedented transformation of society. Financial, scientific, and cultural elites, once focused solely on power and control, found themselves humbled. They recognized that the arrival of a force capable of bending reality required collaboration rather than domination. Humanity's most influential figures began to align themselves with the vision of a world where a being beyond time and mortality could usher in progress, peace, and cosmic alignment. The declaration resonated deeply with ordinary people. Mass gatherings, ceremonies, and acts of celebration spread across cities and continents. Humanity's collective consciousness shifted, united by a singular truth. The Chosen One was not a distant myth or story, but a living, tangible force whose arrival signaled the dawn of a new age. Ultimately, this global acknowledgement cemented the Chosen One's status as the central figure of the universe. The old god's authority diminished, human society began to transform, and the world collectively bowed, not out of fear, but out of recognition that a new era of divine guidance had arrived. For millennia, time was the ultimate ruler. Even gods deferred to its immutable laws, shaping destinies and regulating the rise and fall of civilizations. Yet the Chosen One shattered this authority effortlessly. By existing before the universe intended, they broke the seal of time itself, demonstrating that destiny was neither fixed nor owned, but pliable to those of extraordinary essence. The implications were staggering. Chronology, causality, and history were all subtly redefined. Ancient civilizations recorded prophecies now aligned with events in ways impossible under conventional understanding. People began to witness anomalies in time, past events influencing the present with unusual clarity, and glimpses of potential futures unfolding in real time. The Chosen One had rewritten the rules of existence. Historians, physicists, and spiritual leaders worked tirelessly to understand the mechanics of this temporal upheaval. Their studies revealed that the Chosen One's presence generated a resonance with the fabric of time, allowing events to align with potentialities previously thought unrealizable. Every action, every miracle, every manifestation was a testament to their mastery over the ultimate authority. The gods' panic intensified. For the first time, the Eternal were forced to confront a being whose very existence transcended their control. Even their oldest strategies, built on millennia of planning, proved irrelevant. The Chosen One was not a part of the timeline. They were the force rewriting it. For humanity, witnessing this temporal mastery was both terrifying and exhilarating. It represented freedom from predestination and a chance to imagine a universe where potential was infinite. By breaking time's seal, the Chosen One opened the door to a future previously unthinkable, where creation itself could be shaped by intention and divine will unified. At last, the Chosen One reached full ascension, embodying power, wisdom, and presence beyond comprehension. The old gods, once rulers of destiny, watched as their reign ended, not with violence, but with acknowledgement of a greater force. The era of the immortal hierarchy had concluded. A new age of creation and possibility had begun. The ascension was visible across the cosmos. Stars shimmered with renewed brilliance. Planets aligned in unprecedented harmony, and cosmic energy pulsed in rhythm with the Chosen One's essence. Mortals, witnessing this spectacle, were overwhelmed with awe, reverence, and hope. They realized that the universe had finally produced a being capable of balancing creation, life, and destiny itself. Earth became a nexus of miracles, learning, and transformation. Cities flourished under new inspiration, scientific frontiers advanced at unimaginable speeds, and spiritual communities celebrated the presence of a living God.